Good morning, traders. Welcome to the live stream for the 13th of October. Okay, let's get into it. Remember, this is going to be running each morning. We'll do a bit of a live stream for about 30 to 45 minutes, just depending on the rundown of the markets. We'll take a look at some stocks we're looking at. We might look at some currencies and just other markets to get a feel of what's happening. Also, just remember you can send in charts. We've got one to look at today. As Anne-Marie from the group has actually sent in some charts just to have a look at, and has a couple of questions. So we'll go through that today. So feel free to send in a chart to support at tradesetup.com.au. So that's support at tradesetup.com.au. Otherwise, just jump on the chat. You should be able to jump on the chat now. If you've downloaded the new version of the app, you should be able to see the chat function and use the chat function through your phone as well as your desktop. So that should all be good. So any questions, you can whack them through the chat. Just put them up there, and we'll take a look at them as well. All right, let's kick off. Let's take a look at the. We've got the ASX here. It's actually opened down 28 points. Didn't expect it to be down too much on the open, but yeah, it's sold off a bit just coming into the open. This is the daily chart here of the ASX 200. We'll take a look at the CFD in a minute just to get an overview of the overall market, including the night sessions and how some different levels. But this is the ASX 200 daily. We can see that trend up is actually holding. We've spoken about this a few times now. We've got some higher highs. We've taken out, this was a key level around that 53, say 5400, a touch below. It took out that with this move up here, washed out that level, pulled back, made that higher low. The high low here beforehand is not necessarily a break of that downtrend, here, purely because it's got to take out that anchor level, what we call the anchor level anyway, which is up towards 5400, and that's sort of the longer term traders. Anyone that's sort of sold it in this area here that's pushing the market down potentially would be holding stops up there. So as soon as you see that, we can discuss that further later on. When you see a break of anchor levels as such, that's when you're looking for the turn of the either consolidation out of a down or uptrend, or a break of that trend and just a move higher, which we did see. So we saw that lower high built, which is a good sign that potentially that could happen. Rallied up, broke that level, what we call the anchor level, and then roll over. So this sort of zone in here, which would be a good little trade, a good area to take some longs. Anyway, the market is holding that. It's currently holding that 5200 on the ASX, which potentially could be the next anchor leg for that trend up. But you're really going to get through this 5600 zone to confirm. At the moment, we're looking a bit tentative, looking like we could roll over. Doesn't mean we could do a bit of this price action, pull back, consolidate, but then go higher instead and test that 5600. We'll have to see how it goes. Let's look at the we'll take a look at the breakdown on the. So this is a 30-minute. So this is the latest price action. You can see it potentially is rolling over, as we could have a lower high here in this level here at 5480, but really, and that could be confirmed today if we do pop below. I'll just go back out. If we do push down below the 5447, remembering this is a CFD, but the structure's the same. If we do push down below that level at 5442, yeah, we could be heading lower, and we could really confirm that lower high in here at 5480. If that level does hold up 5447, I expect a bit more contraction in price, and then maybe work its way or grind its way back up to 5480. Remember, the last few days we've either had it opening down hard and then pushing back up into the close, or opening up and pushing down into the close. So we'll see how that plays out today. Yeah, but it's opened up pretty weak. Let's actually look at the ASX 200. If we just go across here and look at the intraday, get an idea of these 30-minute levels. So yeah, we could, if we get through that 54.30 to 40 zone, that really would confirm that lower high, and then you'd expect some contraction on the daily chart, which is what we're starting to see. We've got the potential, we are seeing it on the daily chart, that rolling over period there. We've still got that zone. If we get through there, contract lower, Hopefully we look to build that, excuse me, hold that trend high and build that higher low somewhere around 53.50 if this plays out, and then push it back up through 55 towards 56 and above. Any questions there on the ASX? Any opinions there? Still doesn't look bad on the weekly chart though. It is getting a bit heavy, I think, up here, but there is no reason why this can't continue. All right, let's take a look at a few stocks. Actually, let's get into. We'll chat about the trade that Anne-Marie sent in. We'll get that across here. It's on 10 TEN. Now, if everyone can see that there, just make sure it pops up there. So this is a chart of 10. I've got another chart up. I've got some. I can draw it on there. So I'll bring that up in a minute. But this is what's latest price action. I think it's a daily chart on 10. Now her entries are further up at 120 here. She did say that she expected that. I would say that's a bit late. Yeah, but in essence, what you're looking at, I think the price structure you're following there is fantastic. I really do like that. I'll draw it up in a minute. And the key levels that I see pretty much exactly the same as what you've got there. And your latest entry here, again, the only thing I could say about it is it's a bit late. That's all. And you did mention that too. It is a tough one because it just depends on what sort of confirmation. I mean, we were talking about this a while ago, and you did say buying into the unknown or trading in the unknown in that zone rather than the known. When the price is known and the price action is known, it's a bit harder because everyone's either loaded into the market, everyone's positioned the way they want to, long or short. But the idea is to buy into the unknown. So if you do get it right, you get that. You're trying to get to the start of the trend, getting at the start of a move even, which I think really, I'll go through it in a minute. And you did mention your stops. You had your initial stop. Now, to me, if it is just a dollar value stop, yeah, fair enough. But you've got your stop. The problem with this, the way I see it, is that it's in a zone that could easily get taken without breaking the trend. It could easily pull back, tag you on that stop level there, and then go back up and continue up. There's no reason why it couldn't do that. But the idea, actually, if we just get this, I'll just get a chart up. So this is 10 here. Okay, let's just go through quickly the levels. Obviously, this is a key level up at the 114 mark. We pushed down. We've made a low at 90 cents. Say we pushed back up, and then we've headed back down and retested that zone. Haven't quite touched it, so it is at that stage it's potentially a higher low, and then we can mark up that zone at 114. Then we've gradually wound and pushed our way higher, only ever so slightly, well, slowly, sorry, and then roll over quite savagely and took out that zone at 90. And that there, once we got that and that push back up into the above 90 cents, that is really, you've got that's a retest more than anything else, and a double bottom. And what you were looking for, if this was to confirm that 90 level, you've ground the way back up here. We sort of push back up. If we were going to roll over, you've got this couple of down, well, obviously open down and push back up. But if that was going to confirm a down move, you'd want it to go through there. And the fact that it's opened and pushed its way up, and the next day it did too, and took out these minor highs at 97. That's a very good sign. Obviously, that's a double bottom. That is a washout of those lows. Maybe taking out a few stops from anyone that's bought it in here, holding stops below there, just washed them out, put them back on the sidelines. We are in overbought territory, so that's another thing. Once you're heading down and you sort of break a level, but you're in oversold territory. As soon as you get into that oversold territory, then you've got to be concerned that it's going to pop back on you. The market's going to bounce back, and it did. We had another crack at it here, push back down, and we couldn't do it. We just took out that 97. Obviously, you can see the strong price action after that, straight back up to touch 114, even trade above it intraday, and just close right at that level. very nice price action. So if you're thinking about going long, I wouldn't obviously buy on a break at that level, because it is stretched from basically the 92. It's had a few days up straight into 114. So that's a good solid strong move up higher. To buy at the potential tail end of a strong move, you really want to see a bit more price action build, and that's what we got here. So that price action is a really great confirmation. You've come back down, retested this lower high in here at 108. Touched it a few times, being rejected off there. The first time it was rejected quite hard. Had another go at it here and rejected again, and then you popped up. So this is all very low time frame structure that you could be looking at on a half an hour chart, even an hourly chart. But even on the daily, it shows you've got this level here at 112, popped its head above that at 113. It's only 1 cent. Had another go to go lower, and that, as an entry wise, that is fantastic. I really like that entry, because you have broken here. You got this overall structure. You've got a major double bottom here. It's had a go here. So as we add all that together, it's taken out these little highs here, retested it again after washing out only by a cent or so, that 114 level. It's pulled back in and it's starting to build again. So that you got the MAs up. We are in overbought territory, so that's a bit hard, but this price action is very, very nice. I really like that. And so really an ideal entry is really buying at 114, I'd say. On stop there, you can just enter there. You've got your risk. You can place it, really, really tight at 109, but you probably ideally just have it below that little higher low at 107, say 106. So the stop we saw. So for me, it's you got to put your stops anywhere below the sort of recent higher low or lower high. That's sort of because that's a structural point. If we did pop up here and say your entry was at, I think it was at 125, 120, so it was in this second bar here, which was just in here. Say it tagged you on that, you got in and it come back down and retested this zone. It had a deeper correction. Potentially you could have got hit on that stop level, and then the market's taking off again, because you're not below a structural level, which is, I think, it's the key point. So if you're sort of getting in late, and you're buying into that at 120 on a bit more confirmation, then you've really got to either reduce your size. I believe just reduce your size, so you've got the dollar values the same risk, but you can put your risk level below 107, say 106 even. And you can even just, if you want it just below that level there, 109, 108, because it's a structural point as well. It's only a minor one, but still, if that gets tagged, it's broken up here and it comes back down below that 110 to 109, there's something wrong with the trend. Something's not playing out the way you think, and it could easily just roll over. So really, the structure you're using, I think, Anne-Marie, was fantastic. I really like it. The idea behind it was really good. It's obviously, like you said, a bit late. It's worked out fine in the end. And the second point I think you had was where to place your stop, your trailing stop, essentially. I think you said you had it around this level. Initial stop, and you've moved it up here. Okay, again, I think you're putting it below that little low there. If we can get onto the other chart there. So I think you put it really, once it's broke up, it's pulled back. As soon as it popped out through those highs at 125, your stop should be going below that level there at 119, so at 118. And then you just basically from there, you're just rinsing and repeating. You've got to, I guess the idea, the one thing is this is where I like to use partial exits. You stop below 126. Once it pops out the top there at 135, you should be raising your stop to say, well, this is the way I would do it, below 126 at 125. So that's a good area. It did get tagged, I think you said. It did get hit. Yeah, so your stop did get hit. I mean, you made a profit. The idea behind the trade was fantastic. I think it was great. Nothing wrong with that at all. So really, you've got to start to look at zones where it could run out of steam. It could find potentially some good struggle. The only other thing I could say is I guess that's a level there, if we can get that level. So you've pushed up here, say it's right up here at 160. We did have a bit of a go at it. We've made that level, I don't know if you can see that right across the side there. Made the lows there, pushed up, dropped straight below them, re-tagged it at 150, and then we started heading lower. So if that was a level, if we just put it up at 150, say, you're heading into that zone now. We didn't quite reach it, and that's the problem. You might want to take a partial up there. You're sitting on some decent, especially if you've got a 120, 120, and you're sitting up at 145. You might just want to take a partial exit, and then just raise your stop up. That's the way I like to do it, especially when you've got a key zone, a good, and you're in overbought territory, which we were, and that's probably another problem. We were sitting pretty much from your entry, sitting in overbought territory. So pushing up to that 150 zone would have been a nice level. It didn't play out. The only minor thing we could have said, this is all in hindsight, and it's easy trading in hindsight, is with that push up, it failed, so it's pretty much opened, sold off during the day, so it's not a good candle to see. Opened up the next day, pushed higher, and then this day here, you could have just raised your stop potentially below this green candle, and it's below 130. That's give or take. That's not too big a difference, but really the idea behind your trade was fantastic. I really liked it. We've got the second entry, I think, was up a bit high. If we quickly go through that. Again, really, it's a similar type of thing. It's a bit late. I would like this type of area. So it was up at 142.5. So you're sort of looking up at this zone here. If we can just mark that up. So it's up at this zone here. To me, that's quite late. You've got pullback, a lower low, it pushes back up, so you're sort of making this contraction action. It's taken out that low there at 123. It's pushed back up to sort of tag that 130, which is, it is a minor lower high, but it's touched that one and it's pulled back, and then it's busted through it. So that, as an entry wise, I think that's probably a better trade, just if you can take that entry across there as a continuation entry, through, was it 130, taking it at 131, 132, did pull back, and then your stops are going to go below that minor low there at 122, and then ride it up from there. So really, that's it. Your price structure, what you're looking at, I reckon is great. I think you're doing a really good job there. And obviously your stops at the moment would be below this level here, I'd say 139 to 138, because it's really got to push up into that 150 zone. It may find it is getting overbought again. So yeah, I hope that helps. Gone over that a bit, but yeah, I think fantastic, and thanks very much for sending that in. Sorry guys, we just went offline there for a moment. Should be back online now. Just check. Yep. Right. Sorry about that. Hope we're all still there. Yeah, like I said, thanks Anne-Marie for sending that in. That was fantastic. Anyone else that wants to send in a chart that we could have a quick look at, or pop something in the chat? Yeah, that'd be great. We've actually got another one. I'll just check. Seems to be going okay. It's IPH. Someone mentioned IPH, I think, yesterday, or on the chat. IPH Limited. Now that, to me, just at a glance, is yeah, well and truly in a downtrend. Let's just look for some levels that could come into play. Start off on a weekly. Well, that's all the data there. Yeah, so we started off at around $3. I think it opened up. It's worked its way up to $9 to $9.50, and then we had a decent correction there. Now, once it got through this 675 zone, it pushed out through there. If we just go, so now we're in this this zone here. It's had a good push up, pull back. It's made that minor higher low. Well, sorry, it's actually quite a good higher low there. It's quite high, and it's pushed up there. So once we got through that level, you can found it's found a bit of buying in there, but it just really struggled. And then we've sort of been bought up. We're trying to hold above it, and then the price has just rolled over from there. So it's making those, from this move down, it's making lower highs, lower high. It's made a lower low here. So this is really the key level now. It's pushed back down, taking out that 575, I think, and then drop through there. So what we want to see now, for me, to be looking at to buy this, it's got to hold up that five, and it really has come back down to retest that $5 zone. You want to see it maybe test this low again, and then hold up, and then build a higher low. But that price action, I'd say, is going to take a long time. The trend is down. I use the MAs quite a bit just to define the trend. Don't particularly trade off them exactly, but you use them to, if you've got price structure working in your favor and the MAs are at least contracting, yeah, sorry, I'm seeing that problems again with the stream. Okay, yeah, we'll see how we go. If we can hang in there. Yeah, the stream it seems to be hanging in there. It's okay. All right, just hang in there, guys. See how we go. I think it's just having a problem uploading. That's all. So price is pushed down here, and we need to make that head down towards that 525 to 525 zone, build that higher low, and then we want to see some consolidation or contraction just in price, and then potentially pop back up. Alrighty. So let's just take a look at the ASX. See where we're at there. Still down 26 points. There's not too much happening there. Alright, so looks like we're moving in there. Okay, another few we're looking at. We've got BWX. We've had that as an alert previously. We're looking for that. We've got that here. We're looking for that chart to really kick on. We've got some good support down here at 430. Now, this structurally that is really nice. It's pushed back up from the 430. If we go right over to the left-hand side, made that major high low, which is really good, really nice price action, and pushed up to the highs at 570. It has failed quite hard actually. I don't know if that was on the back of news, and that leads me to another question, Anne-Marie, I'll answer in a second. Washed out that level only slightly here, bounced back pretty hard, pushed back down to 430, and now we're just making those higher lows. And this price action up into here was really nice. You got contraction in price. The pushback up wasn't as hard as previous, didn't sell down to the same spot, and then you're contracting, and then we've obviously popped up. So I like this type of price action here, and I think hopefully that could take us back up towards this zone around 540, 50, 60. That's what we're looking for anyway, and potentially into new highs. Again, just we're happy to hold risk below around the 480 mark there, just below this higher low, because that if it gets through that key level, you got to just remember, if it's trying to pick a level where if it does get through it, that means the trend, in my opinion, is over. It could easily wash that level out, but the further it gets away from there, the harder that's going to be, obviously. But it could easily just from here just pull back down, retest, wash it out, and then go. But really, we're going to have problems. The trend's going to have problems holding or moving higher if we do wash out that level at 480. Okay, another one we're looking at here, we got CKF. I just want to see how that's going. We do like that overall price structure. It's looking really good. That's all of it there. So it's sort of opened up, pushed back down to $1, and then just sort of been grinding its way higher with high lows, high highs, stair stepping its way up. And we've touched up towards above 525. I think it's around 537, 536, and then on the weekly chart, just been grinding its way lower. We pushed lower, made that low at 350, and then popped back up, retested 5 or just above, and we made that major higher low. So that's really nice price action when it fails to continue lower. So overall that price is contracting. You've got rising support and lowering resistance there. So that's coming into a point where it's going to have to move. Now I do like it for a push higher. The problem working against it is really that it's just getting to a bit overbought in the daily, but you can see that's just kicking up now. That stochastic there now, it's starting to push up. I do like it for a push up through 475, say, these little highs. And then once, I think if it does get through there, from here, I do think it's going to start attacking 510 and back to those highs at 530. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. That's a nice little one there. It's a real shame, but this is one we picked quite a while ago on a daily. We have traded in the past quite successfully, but did miss out on a recent trade on that. You can see this price action on the weekly. It's rallied up to 45, pulled back, made that that support, not really nice support level. I think it's around 26 thereabouts. If we can just get in closer, really nice support level in here at 26, and then you've taken out that high. So this is a key level here at 34. Taken out that there, pull back, make it a higher low. It didn't take out the lows. Sorry, take out the highs at 38. As soon as you do that, you probably expect a deeper correction, but the main support level holding that level, that trend higher on the weekly is the 26. So it can easily pull back, take out these inside lows, which it did, wash that out, rejected that level, and now it's gone. Now they've got some really good, they've had a really good news flow too. So they're doing really well, Premium, PPS. So I think that's got a lot of support. It is rallied up quite hard now. But yeah, I think that the news flow on that is. We're all still in there. Yep, hanging in there. So it's made that higher low. We were looking at it. Alerted that somewhere around here. So we wanted to see that. We've had that push higher. We wanted to see a failed low, which we got at 37, but we just sort of dropped the ball a bit, I guess, and didn't get to alert it because just stopped watching it. The price action turned out exactly what we were hoping for. Where we got that higher low in here, and then really the trade was through that 39 zone, which it really kicked on from there. So you can see when you do get it right, if you're picking your zones okay, and you're sort of trading from nice structure. We've had that, and this is another thing, we had that wash out of 36. So that was a key level on the daily chart. This zone in here at 36 was what we're saying about the anchors. It's holding that trend higher. It's come down, retested it, washed it out. So you can easily get washouts of zones. Doesn't mean the trend's over. It's closed back up, so it's open, washed it out, closed back up, and then we've built. So if you're watching it from there, you'd be sitting there thinking, okay, we didn't get through it. We should really have closed low. If the market was weak, closed low, we're in oversold. And you just want to see, okay, what happens here? I think that's going to hold up. What do we need to see if it's for this trend to hold? You want to see a higher low, which we got in here at 37, retouched. And as soon as that starts failing there, you go, okay, I want to see an entry. 339, and that's what we got there. So you can see once we get it right, once you do get your entries in the right spot, the risk reward can be fantastic, and that's what we've seen up there. We've had that push through 39 up to 50. It's a shame we went on board that one, but yeah, that's a great example of just planning out the trade, I guess. Okay, just see what else we've got. We can have a quick look at the banks there. I don't know if we've spoken about Westpac. I think there's going to be some action in the banks here. We can see that contraction in here. Support zone at 28. We've had that little washout there at 28. That's holding up. And we've got this higher low, say 28.50. That's not confirmed just yet. I mean, I like to say it's a higher low, but it's only really confirmed once you get through these highs. What is that? On that candle, 31.30, say. So once we sort of trade up through 31.30, then that is a confirmed high low, and you'd like to say that trend is starting to get some steam, and we may just push up, make a higher low, higher high, push up, and just stair step away up. I don't mind the stochastics where they are too. It's touched on 50%, so that could easily push back up into overbought, take this market with it, or vice versa, the market bring the stochastics up, sorry. But yeah, that weekly trend is quite good. You're not getting a severe moves down. Anything sort of down has been brought back up again. It's starting to get capped on the upside, but also capped on the downside too. So that's contraction, and it's what we like to see. So you want to really, ideally, try to with your trading, just trying to take a look at and see when the market's contracting and what's going to happen for it to push out of contraction. Okay, so you ideally want to buy early when it's unknown, from contraction into expansion, and then you're getting that initial leg up. So there's always people buying at different levels, different stages, which keeps that trend going. But you ideally want to be one of the first, and that's what you're looking for. You just want to plan your trades out. Okay, Paul, just wondering whether BHP has much further to go. I'll have a quick look. Just back to, we had a question for Anne-Marie also about news and things like that, news releases or news catalysts or anything like that that we look at. I think I'm more of a pure technical analysis. I've gone through all the fundamentals, and for me, my background's in engineering, so I did a degree in that. Never went into the industry, so I find it hard to understand economics half the time. It's good to learn. I do really find it interesting, but most of my trades, everything's sort of based off the technicals. I feel that I mean, any technical trader would say that the fundamentals are factored in. Anyone that wants to buy it for a fundamental reason has bought it. If they're not, I don't know what they're waiting for, because fundamentals are not going to give you a trigger. They're not going to give you an entry level. They just sort of say whether it's a good buy, longer term, what's going to happen. So I think ideally to go off the technicals for your entries, but I think it's also good. It's always good just to take into account if you're looking at something. This, for whatever reason, let's take a look at one. This is one we quite like. It's got a bit of price action here. We want to see that, build that higher low and go up. So what I would do, and you can see I've got the news up here, just to look to see what news flow has been coming out. Anything that looks good, the results have been quite positive. If there's any positive news results, something I'm looking at, you always want to base, I look at my technicals, obviously, that looks great. I'm happy to buy it. I want to see a setup, and just have a quick squeeze over the news flow that's coming out. I mean, MVP, that's probably one that we find as a great example. That there, technically, I think that market on the weekly chart is contracting. It's been oversold. It's starting to get bought out of that oversold level. The daily hasn't given a great setup here yet. You're still seeing those lower highs and pushing that market down and hold that market down. We've potentially got a higher low just above 5, and we do like that test of 5, another retest of 5, wash out, and a retest. So that's all together, that's quite a good positive sign that it could start heading higher. Now we know that they've had some really good news flow, so this contraction, you can see that type of style movement is more contraction for it to build for another move higher rather than a good sell-off. And I think that's backed up by news flow, which is always good. So yeah, I don't tend to put too much emphasis. I can look at a chart and happily trade off the chart without knowing what's going on. But I do like to just keep an eye on it, just to a once over, just to see what's happening. Okay, BHP. Okay, we'll have to have a quick look at BHP, and then we'll have to call it a day. We've got to rush out. All right, BHP. Always like to start way back, just at the longer term time frame. You can see that's obviously had to move up, double top really, so that's a really negative sign, that double top in there. Pull back, really struggled to get through 35, 36, that sort of zone in here, that high across there, and then we just failed. Once we got through this level at 27.50, we made we busted through there, popped back up to retest it, made that lower high. That's really negative price action on the monthly chart, so there's obviously a big move we've seen. You sort of see, once you understand what price action you're looking for, you can see when you get it right, it really does fail, and you can get some good trades in there. But that's obviously the monthly, that's failed completely there. So we want to see, to me, that on a monthly basis, there's no reason why that can't, it's contracting higher potentially. MAs are still pointing down. We are starting to get into overbought territory. It could easily roll over again and then attack back down towards what's that low, about 14.06, 14 bucks. It could easily roll over, retest that, and push through and straight back down to this 10 buck zone. You don't know, so really got to have it in your back in your mind. I think we're just going offline. Yeah, so we should be back online now, guys. Sorry about that. We'll try and get this sorted out for tomorrow. Anyway, back to BHP. Yeah, it's popped back up. It's contracting. It could potentially look like it could roll over. So you go down to the next time frame, weekly. Nothing really different there. We are in overbought territory. We're starting to get up to this level around 24, 25, where we could just retest that. And then if we do see a price action like this, push back up, pull back, retest it, and make that lower high, somewhere around 24, 23, 22, I'd be very concerned because we are in overbought on the weekly, and then we could potentially start rolling over. Going down to the daily again, there's nothing here. The trend on, say, since the start of this year has been higher, but we are getting into that zone where we could expect a rollover. Now, if you're long, doesn't mean you get out, because there's nothing to say it could pull back, build that higher low around 21.50, 22, and then go again and just take straight up. There's nothing to say that, because that's these stochastics and overbought, so we know that we'll probably expect a reaction of this move up, a reaction lower. But whether it's the end of the trend, you want to see it's failed highs or failed lows. That's what you want to be looking for. So if we get that failed high, a pullback, and then a push back up, a failed high below 24, then you'd be getting concerned, because everything else is working against you as well. No worries. Clement, this the charting package we're using just here is called Spark. SPARK. It's quite good. The problem is you can get all the charts, but you can't draw lines on it. That's what we don't like. The other one we use on this chart here is Ninja Trader. All right, I better call it a day, guys. I've got to shoot off. Anyway, thank you very much for joining, and thanks for the questions. And remember, any questions you do have can go into the chat while we're going, or if you have some charts or anything you want to email through to support@tradesetup.com.au, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow or the following day. Anyway, that's fantastic, and we'll speak again tomorrow. And sorry about the stream. We'll get that sorted out for tomorrow. Cheers, guys.